We continue to follow breaking news, a pretty big news story here in Columbus at this hour. Thomas Quinlan is out as the chief of police for the city of Columbus.
And this all comes after he was under fire by members of the community for the division's mishandling of several high-profile events in the last year. This summer, demonstrators sued the city after allegations of police abuse during protests. Sean Walton represents one of those clients. He also represents the family of Casey Goodson Jr., who was actually shot and killed by a Franklin County Sheriff's deputy, but the investigation is being handled by CPD, started under Quinlan's watch. Sean, you say there are problems with the investigation. There were problems from the very start. So when you heard today's news, what was your reaction?
You know, I was proud of the mayor for taking that step of bringing this city transformational change, because the time is now. It's been long overdue. And so this was a very necessary move.
You know, you mentioned you were proud of the mayor for making this move. One of the things that Kim Jacobs, the former chief, said to me was, you know, he was the interim chief for a year, and then he was the probationary chief for a year, and he was under the direction of the mayor. So how much of this goes back to the way the mayor has directed the chief? Is that a concern for you?
That's not a concern for me as much as the systemic issues with the Columbus Division of Police. Chief Jacobs is also responsible for many of those issues. So I don't fault the mayor here. I don't believe that Chief Quinlan was the correct initial hire. But this is not about the mayor. This is about the Columbus Division of Police and the systemic issues with policing in Columbus.
Attorney Walton, talk to us about the culture. You always say that there's a culture within the Columbus Police Department, the Columbus Division of Police, that allows for certain behaviors to happen. What are you talking about? The
lack of accountability. One example would be that there was a report in the last year or two that just 6% of Columbus police officers were responsible for over half of the use of force reports. And there was no investigation into that. There was no accountability. So there are officers that act with impunity. And so it's a culture that has to be changed. And I'll add quickly that Franklin County Sheriff Dallas Baldwin is a product of the Columbus Police. U.S. Marshal Peter Tobin is a product of the Columbus Police. And so it is systemic, and it's a culture.
You know, you say that there has to be changing in the training. We've heard people today say, the religious leaders saying they want whoever the new chief is to come from outside the Division of Police, maybe to put a new set of eyes on what you call systemic problems. Do you think it's better to have someone outside the division or someone who's homegrown and understands Columbus and what's happening within the division?
I think that we have no choice but to make an outside hire. It cannot come from within. We saw that with Chief Quinlan. He came from within, but he was raised in this culture. And so it has to come from the outside 100%. This policing in Columbus has to be reimagined, and it's very difficult to reimagine from the inside.
Talk to us about the idea of the Civilian Review Board. Voters in Columbus went to the polls in November and threw their support behind this issue, and so we see this board forming and taking place. Do you have faith that these citizens will be able to push the needle, accomplish much for reform?
Not until the FOP agrees to change their contract. And the issue there is that they have bargained away the ability to discipline officers and hold them accountable. And so we don't want the contract to take away their right to have fair employment rights, but we do want the ability to discipline officers. And so until they show that they're standing with the community, any review board will have extreme difficulty. I'm calling on them. That's a call to action. They should stand with us. Protect officers, but more importantly, protect the people that you serve. And that's a direct call to action.
Thomas Quinlan claimed that he did make significant changes, but sometimes adapting changes take time to get them through the system. To change something that might be systemic isn't something that happens overnight. Did he deserve more time?
No.
Well, that was a quick answer.
That was a quick one. And I have to say, why do you say that?
Because these issues are not new. There have been recommendations in place since at least 2015, 2016 by the Ohio Supreme Court, by Governor Kasich's the Police Community Relations Task Force that was put together. And so these issues are not new. There was a slow rollout to even implement the recommendations by the mayor's task force. And so a year was more than enough time. He knew that he had a year, and nothing has changed. And again, we need an outside hire because this culture is extremely flawed and it's deadly.
All right.
It'll be interesting to see if it does come from outside.
Yeah, and it's already talk about, playing the tea leaves there.
Yeah.
Attorney Walton, thanks for joining us. We're going to have to leave it there. We appreciate you being with us tonight.
Thank you.